Ahoy there, epic plasma gamers! Welcome back to our devlog series on Throwbro, a game starring everyone's favorite green dude, Throwbro, on his quest to throw green things at all of your least favorite green dudes, because all my epic plasma gamers hate green dudes. Recently we made a ton of progress on this game. We have 3 nearly completed worlds, almost 20 levels, and a whole bunch of mechanics that keep the gameplay fresh. This week I felt like taking a small break from the beach world and working on the desert world. Oh yeah. Unlike how I've started the other worlds, I decided to start this one with the art. Now I happen to live in a desert, so I had no shortage of inspiration for the art. I created what may be my favorite background for this game so far, that really helps create a feeling of depth in this world. I then made a new sand tile set and some flags to throw around the world. Unfortunately, once I finished the art, I could no longer procrastinate working on the functionality of this world. I have been trying to add a few unique mechanics with each world, and this one was by far the most ambitious. First up, we have a new enemy, and it's a cactus. Yeah, I know there's no consistency on what can be alive in our games, just go with it. It runs back and forth similar to other enemies in this game, but will randomly stretch and then fire spikes at you. On its own, it doesn't really add a ton, but it adds some really good difficulty when combined with other mechanics in this world. Next up, we got tumbleweeds. These really add to the barren wasteland effect. Hashtag relatable. Now these are actually pretty difficult to avoid. That is, until you realize that you can just pick them up and throw them. I'm still trying to decide exactly how these will function. Being able to pick them up is really fun, but it also seems to make them too easy. So I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Another new mechanic for this world is this javelin launcher. I had this idea for an abandoned desert temple level, or something like that, where you have these javelins launching at you. These are also easier when you realize you can just pick them up. However, I feel this one actually creates a really nice difficulty, where you have to decide which javelins to avoid and which ones you should use to get to faraway places. Now something I felt was really necessary to achieve the Wild West vibe I was going for was TNT. But I wasn't sure how to make it work from a gameplay perspective. This is what I ended up settling on. It just acts like any other throw item in the game until you throw it. It then proceeds to smoke up and then explode. I also made it so Throwbear can pick it up and throw it at you. These are really good for blowing up lots of things. The player, enemies, towers, and breakable blocks. They're also good for blowing up your house. Ha! But you don't need to worry about that. That is, if you are an epic plasma gamer. Oh, what's an epic plasma gamer? It's only a group of the best people on the internet. You can become one yourself by hitting that sweet subscribe button. Think of it this way. It's the best and cheapest home insurance you'll ever invest in. Alright, the last mechanic we added is this conveyor belt system. It comes in 2 forms, one with falling platforms and one with hooks that you grab onto. Here's how it all works. The conveyor belt has a starting point, which spawns in new objects, and then sends them along the track. They may take a few turns, but eventually they will make it to the end, where they are dropped off. The falling platforms are pretty straightforward. They drop the platform when you step on it. The grabbing ones, however, are pretty unique. You can use the grab button to take a ride on them. However, they can also be used to grab enemies or throw items like you see here. They can also be used to pick up dead enemies, which you can use as platforms. I thought of another challenge where you have to jump off of TNT before it explodes. There's a lot of possibilities with this that I'm excited to explore. With all this in place, I was able to use these to make a completed level. You start off slowly by getting introduced to the tumbleweeds and then the new cactus enemy. I didn't want to overwhelm players, so I kept it at those 2 mechanics for the first half of the level. And then I introduced them to the TNT. You then can use the TNT for a couple puzzles. For instance, you have a whole bunch of blocks to explode here. There's another one where you have to throw it from a falling platform. I finished off by creating a desert theme, which you can hear playing now.
So on the more technical side of things, I got a few things done. Now, our game does have a story, believe it or not, and there's a few ways that we're actually going to tell it during the game. The first one we've already talked about a little bit, but it's fully completed now, so here's how the dialogue system has ended up looking. This will play at the start of select levels where we want to progress the story. You can see everything is smoothly animated, and they do this little jumping thing while they're talking, and oh, that's actually a pretty good point. And the next way that we're telling the story is through this letter that you collect at the end of each level. You'll get to see how this plays into the story when the game comes out, but the way it works is you collect the letter at the end of each level, and it takes you into this scene where the letter comes out, shakes open, and pulls it down with some text. It's pretty simple, but I think it ended up looking pretty cool, and it fills the overwhelming sense of loneliness I feel every time I open my email. I love you too, letter system. I love you too. The last thing we did was finally add in a title screen. Now, we're planning on putting some fun animations and interesting stuff going on, but right now it's just the base systems for settings and game loading and stuff like that. Definitely a work in progress, but it's really cool to be able to just open the game and load in through the menu. It makes it feel a lot more like an actual game. But as for me, that's pretty much everything I got done this week, so make sure to subscribe to become an epic plasma gamer, and remember to stay epic.